All right, the first one say, for the given case, tell whether you would use the law of sines, the law of cosine, or the law of cosine to solve the triangle. So we're going to see how much you've been paying attention.
I've been paying attention a lot, but I don't think I'm able to do this. Okay, so.
Number 4. Angle, side, angle. What do we use to do that one?
Angle, side, angle.
Do the sines.
Law of sines. 6. Side, angle, side.
Law of cos.
Yep. Law of cosines.
So side angle side is not the same as side angle.
Correct.
Good job.
Thank you.
Why would I try to do those things?
This one is easy, please don't mess it up.
Okay, I'm trying to make
All right, this next one gives you a triangle.
Oh, it gives us a triangle. That's an upside down triangle.
A, B, C.
They call them triangles because it's 3 angles.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Why is it a tricidal?
And so again, with these, we're solving for the missing pieces. So this is
Side angle side.
side C. This is side B. So side A, I don't have. So what situation is this?
Side angle side.
Side angle side. So I need law of cosines. Yep. So on the quiz, right, you're going to have to determine based on what you're given. Is it side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, side, angle, side, angle, side, or angle, angle, side. And you're going to have to determine what you need to use based on that. Okay, now, I tend to put stuff in order. But at some point, it's going to switch from law of sines to law of cosines, and you're not going to know when that happens. So you're going to have to be able to figure it out. Like, I'm not going to tell you, use the law of cosines to solve the following problem. You're going to have to figure that out for yourself. So, all right, so the pieces that I'm going to be solving for are angle B, angle C, and side A. So, based on what I'm given, I have side B and I have side C, and I have angle A. So, what should I solve for first?
A.
Side A, yes. So, A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. Now, you don't have to rewrite the formula every time you do a problem. I would recommend it because you're getting used to using it and it'll help ingrain it in your brain. But I don't force you to write the formula every time. So I have all of these pieces. The only thing that I have to do is take the square root of this whole side to get A by itself. So I usually in one step will do that. So A equals the square root of 7 squared plus 9 squared minus 2 times 7 times 9 times the cosine of 35. Now, again, calculator's got to be in degree mode because these things are in degrees. We don't ever solve triangles in radians. And so we would be typing this in. And we're going to go to, again, the whole number. You were telling me that was the answer, and I was like, I don't think so.
Oopsie daisies. I got 5. A, wait.
So side A is 5. Now, at this point, like I said before, I could continue using the law of cosines to solve for angle B and or angle C. But mathematically, like we said, law of cosines is harder. So I can switch to law of sines for the purpose of solving now. Okay, that doesn't mean that this problem is a law of sines problem, but I can switch and use that now because I now have another side length, and so I technically have another situation with given information, quote unquote, that works for law of sines. So I would switch to law of sines, and yes.
I got negative 15. I don't know what I did wrong.
That's not even possible out of a radical to get negative 15.
I don't know.
I typed it in exactly right up there. And
Exactly
Wait,
right.
what?
Is what's under the radical negative 15 or what came out of the radical? Because a radical doesn't produce negative
Shepard,
numbers.
you only have 72 as the square root.
what does that mean?
It's not. There's
I'm
not.
also
a
not
radical
getting 5.
over the whole.
It's
But
5.1.
at least I got a
I don't know how to
positive
do this.
number.
I don't know how to do it on that weird calculator, but
You're crazy. Your calculator's weird.
You're weird.
Do this multiple times.
So this should be second square root of 7 squared
See, yours
plus
does
9
something-
squared
I got
minus, I would recommend parentheses here because your calculator could get confused and just think that we're subtracting 2 and not the whole thing. 2 times 7 times 9 times the cosine of 35. I might be in radian mode. We're about to find out.
It does not like you.
Are you in radian mode?
No,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, he is.
Are you
Alright,
ready?
check.
Pretty sure you are.
Didn't
Look
you
at
get
this.
15?
Second
Because I am,
mode.
and I just got
Degree
15.
mode.
I'm
Shepard,
in
maybe you can
degrees.
put a parentheses under the root, and that way it keeps everything into the root.
Yeah, it might just be
I did
taking
it.
the square root of the very first thing that you
That's
have.
what it showed.
Okay, so I have to take the parentheses out.
So I would put a parentheses on everything, and then I would also put one after the minus sign.
on everything. So like 7, like square root parentheses 7 squared plus parentheses.
What is
No,
that?
like square root parentheses 7 squared plus 9 squared minus, do another open parentheses, all of this, close it, and then close it again, because you would have 2 that you've got to close. Did you
Or-
figure out what happened, Charlotte?
I did.
Could I just?
I hit the square root button twice.
Could I just do
And
7?
so it took.
A double square root.
Could I just do that but without the square root and then take the answer of it and square
Yes.
root that?
100%.
Okay,
Since your calculator is what it is, you may want to work in pieces.
Freaking not an
And
iPhone calculator.
Also, might consider talking to your mom about getting you the correct calculator.
$4 billion.
You can.
See, 450.
150.
Oh.
They're, if you don't get like the fancy color ones, then it's less than 100, and also you're gonna use it for the rest of your math career.
You're buying me a speaker?
So,
Okay, hold on. I think I got it.
and if you chose to take stats, that calculator's probably not gonna work. So,
You buy a speaker and a pair of shoes and they are broke.
Oh, wait. Square root. How do I put my answer? Oh, answer.
Like 220, something like that.
I got 5.17. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't need to buy a new
took that
calculator.
long. Just
I think you.
I still
Nope.
think you do.
Nope. 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 Stop.
Shepard.
Stop.
Thinking about you. You know that's
I'm thinking about you. Do you think about me still?
all right. So I'm gonna solve for angle B next because why not? So
I don't want to. I don't like numbers yet.
sine of B over 7 equals sine of 35 over 5.
So you use law of cosine and sines in one triangle.
But I have to do cosine first to be able to do this. Like, I can't use law of sines initially because I don't have the information that you have to plug it in to law of sines. Which, that should be your other cue of if you're using the right thing or not. Like, on the quiz, if you go to, like, use law of sines and it's a law of cosine problem, you won't have enough information to plug it in. You'll be making something up. And same thing if you try to do law of cosines on a law of sines problem. You're not going to have all the information needed. You're going to have 2 unknown things at least. So that should be your other cue. However, if you think, oh, this is law of cosines, and you find out it's law of sines, you probably should go back then and check that table, because if you don't, you might not have the right situation. You might have 2 triangles and you think you only have 1, or you might not have any and you solve the triangle, and then I get to laugh. So,
You laugh at us when you grade tests?
oh yeah. It's even better when, like, my seniors are in here, because I'll, like, laugh and then I'll, like, go put it on the board and I'll be like, I won't tell them who did it, but I'll be like, does this make any sense? And then they just laugh with me. And it's a good time.
That's
Great.
really sad.
Did you laugh on my 47?
Yeah, she had a big laugh at that.
No, I laugh if you make, like, a mistake that, like
You make a
Does it make any
Minus-
sense?
like saying, like, oh, there's 2 triangles and there were actually none. Like, I also usually give space proportionate to how many triangles there should be. So if you have like a ton of space, probably a good hint it's not no triangle. If there's like this much space, probably a good hint. It's either none or it's one that's solved really quick. Like, it's probably not 2 if your space is this tiny.
On the quiz or the test, are we allowed to have like a scrap piece of paper, and if I memorize every single chart and stuff, I can write that down on?
Isn't that
I mean,
what memorization
you-
is?
Well, yeah, but like.
Can.
Okay.
I'm not going to check that for you. I'll only check the formulas, but
Yeah. I'm just gonna write down. I'm just gonna memorize all my notes
Ooh.
and write them down.
I think B equals 53.
Wait, how'd you do that so quick?
Just while everyone was laughing at my
Yeah, while everyone was laughing, I was working, so.
so now I need to find angle C,
And we can do the signs again.
or I could just do 180 minus the 2 angles.
Okay. You're right.
110. Oh, never mind.
180 minus 53 minus 35 would be what?
90. It's a right try. Oh.
Whoa. We could have used Pythagorean theorem on this.
No.
Are you sure it's 90?
I got 92.
That's what I thought.
92.
Daniel.
Daniel.
You dirty liar.
Oh, I thought that was a 5.
That is a 5. It's 53.
No, yeah. I thought it. What? Yeah, no. My head like flipped it and like made it look like a 5.
I was like, what?
No, I was hallucinating.
That is big scoops.
I drank a lot of tea last night. So.
Ooh. Leaves.
All right, 14. These ones, they just give us information. They don't give you a triangle, so you have to draw it yourself.
Oh, sick.
A equals 38, B equals 31, and C equals 35.
They gave us all the side lengths. So it's sides, so it's cos.
It's.
Law of
So if they
cosine.
give you all the sides, it has to be side, side, side.
Cosine.
Has to be law of cosines.
So let's draw it.
So I typically, when I do these, I will start with the smallest side length because in theory it should have what?
The
Smallest angle. Now, I'm also going to tell you it's really weird. Sometimes law of cosines doesn't give you that. If that happens and you get all the way to the end and you realize the smallest side doesn't have the smallest angle, just make a note because typically it just depends on where you start. And sometimes that happens. Usually the Algebra 2 book is pretty good that they all actually work out correctly, but the pre-cal book, not so much. They
Why
first,
did that happen?
I don't know. I've never been able to figure out why that should be.
That's
Like, but if you, but like I say that, but like if you reworked the problem and you started with a different angle, then it will come out to be that way. It's that, but I'm saying like on a quiz or a test, I don't want you, if you've used it correctly, like go back and look at your work, make sure you've used it correctly. But if you've used it correctly and that's still the case, just make a note and be like, this doesn't make sense. But I've typically like, will just say, because like I don't want you to waste time doing a problem again. Like you don't have time for that on like a quiz or a test to go back and redo the whole problem. Just say these don't make sense. But as long as your math adds up, then it's fine. Sometimes they'll tell you like make sure you start with like this particular one, but like they don't. Let's see.
31 is a square root.
Well, I said that, and this book actually does make a comment about it. This is, I forgot, that is my normal rule. This is what happens when I only do this once a year. So, the book actually says, avoid errors. In example 2, the largest angle is found first to make sure that the other two angles are acute. This way, when you use the law of sines to find the another angle, you will know that it's between 0 and 90. So, let's actually do the largest one first. So, let's do angle A first. But I think in the pre-cal book, there's still one that if you do the largest one first, it comes out wrong, which doesn't make any sense. But
Angle A.
so we're solving for angle A
The
because this is the largest side. So we're going to start with that one. So I can use the manipulated formula. So A is the inverse cosine of a squared minus b squared minus c squared over negative 2bc.
Yep.
Confirming I did it right.
Yeah, I'm gonna need 5 minutes to do this real quick. Now.
This one you're definitely going to want to work piece by piece, Shepard. Like I would solve for the top, then solve for the bottom, and then do the inverse cosine of whatever that number is over the bottom number.
38 squared.
Alright, so we've got the inverse cosine of 38 squared minus 31 squared minus 35 squared all over negative 2 times 31 times 35.
Syntax error, Daniel?
Make sure you use the
Degrees.
minus sign on top, but the negative sign on the bottom. What is it?
I said 70.
70.
I'm not there.
I'm going to make sure everybody's is working.
Alpha Y 1.
Oh my goodness, I got 70. I'm so good at this game.
He says that and then he's going to complain later.
Normal calculator. Drink some more water, buddy.
I want to, then I won't have any more.
Yeah, I was.
Alright, so now I'll use the law of cosines. I usually continue, so I started with the largest angle, so let's go to the next biggest one. So let's do angle C now.
70.
Once you've done the first one, it shouldn't make a difference, but... So the sine of C
70.
over 35 equals the sine of 70 over 38. So C is the inverse sine of 35 sine of 70
Thank you.
over 38.
Okay, so we need a stop sign so we know
35 sine 70.
over the side of C. Yes, sir. Equals
60.
60.
60.
Wait.
60. Which means that C is 50. Oh my goodness.
That would all be true. So C is 60,
No poke writing
Ow,
it down.
flick me. I already have it.
meaning B is 50,
Yes.
because 180 minus 60 minus 70 is 50.
You flicking people with your fingers.
What was it?
No.
Alright, I'm going to jump down and do an area problem really fast. If we need to see another law of cosine, I'm happy to do one more, that we're just getting close on the bell. So I want to make sure you get to see the area one before we go too far.
Do you know where Coach Greer is? I just remember that he has my AirPods.
Not earbuds.
The AirPods.
Your JBL black ones.
I would assume he's probably at work.
Why don't you ask Miss Greer?
Oh.
I don't think Miss Greer is gonna know either.
Aren't they related?
Yeah, but she probably doesn't like.
Telepathically, they're twins.
I think I know my brothers on a lot of times.
Yes, you go to the same school with them.
I don't
Alright,
actually know
it's
my
24.
brothers.
A is 12, B is 7, and C is 8. The other thing that will crack me up on a quiz when y'all take it, because every year somebody does this, so please make me happy and don't do this, is
No promise.
that it'll be an area problem and someone solves the triangle.
Ryan.
And the area formula is so much easier than doing that. But every year it happens. Someone solves the triangle on a law of sines area problem and a law of cosines area problem.
I'll just say sorry.
I'm like, did you just think that I taught you area and then didn't test you on it?
I'll just say sorry already.
So if someone solved like one of the sides and then just used the formula that they know, is that like forbidden?
Yes.
I mean, that's fine, but typically if they start solving the triangle, they didn't pay attention to what the instructions said. And the other thing is as long as you attempt to write down an area formula, I'm going to fix it for you. So there's really no reason to not, like.
I didn't realize.
All right, so S equals 1/2, and then we add up all the sides, so 12 plus 7 plus 8, and you really hope that this number is even. If not, it's a fraction, or 13.5 is a decimal. So then area is the square root of 13.5 times 13.5 minus 12 times 13.5 minus 7 times 13.5 minus 8.
I don't like this.
It actually makes a lot of sense now that I see the numbers instead of just one line numbers.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you can go to like one decimal place. If you want to just go to a whole number, that's fine. I usually just go to a whole number for everything because why not? But the book answers go to one decimal place, which they go to one decimal place for everything, but I don't.
Do we have to put the parentheses when typing in the calculator?
Yeah.
Is that what you do? Okay.
It's got to basically look exactly like it looks right here. It's not going to work. What'd you get?
119.
Did you take the square root?
I got 27.
Yeah, it should be 27.
I did it.
I got 27.
So you do square root 13.5 parentheses 13.5 minus 12 close parentheses. Like you have to type it in exactly like it's written here. It's not going to
I
work.
got it wrong because Shepard was flicking me.
8 years ago.
Why are you getting it wrong?
Alright.
I got 27.
Do we need to see another area problem or another law of cosines problem, or are we okay?
I think we're all set now.
All right, your problems that go with this section: 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 27, and 31. So the 13.5 problems from law of sines, which hopefully at least the law of sines part was a little bit of a review when we did the law of cosines problems where we used it. But you have all of that to do over the next couple of days. If we are here tomorrow, you'll just have a work down 13.5 and 13.6. I'm going to go ahead and give you worksheets that you're going to have there for Friday. Now, if we're not at school, you can do them tomorrow and then have all of Friday to do whatever you feel like. I don't
I
care.
have 6 other classes.
Good thing we get a fiesta.
But you don't have to watch any videos now. You just have work to do. So tomorrow can be 13.5, Thursday can be 13.6, Friday can be worksheets, or you can do everything at once. I don't care.
Wait, do we have a quiz?